At 61, Nicolas Cage, one of Hollywood's most unique and mesmerizing actors, stands as a man who has lived through both dazzling fame and unimaginable pain. Behind his eccentric charm and unforgettable performances lies a story filled with heartbreak, loss, and a career that's seen dizzying highs and devastating lows. The tragedy of Nicolas Cage is not just about the fame he lost or the fortune that slipped through his fingers. It's about the cost of living a life too large, too fast and too full of passion. Born into the legendary Coppola filmmaking dynasty, Nicolas Cage seemed destined for greatness. His uncle, the iconic director Francis Ford Coppola, opened the door to Hollywood. But young Nicolas didn't want to rely on family connections. He changed his last name from Coppola to Cage, inspired by comic book hero Luke Cage, to forge his own identity. And he did. From his breakout role in Valley Girl to his Oscar-winning performance in Leaving Las Vegas, Cage became one of the most versatile and unpredictable actors of his generation. By the 1990s, Nicolas Cage was a household name. Films like Con Air, Face Off, and The Rock made him an international superstar. He was charismatic, fearless, and willing to take on any role that challenged him, from romantic leads to deranged anti-heroes. But behind the success, his personal life began to unravel. Fame brought excess, and excess brought chaos. Cage became infamous for his lavish spending. Mansions, private islands, exotic cars, rare comic books, dinosaur skulls. He bought it all. At one point, he owned more than 15 properties across the world. "I didn't say no to anything," he later admitted. "If it made me feel alive, I did it." But that lifestyle came at a devastating cost. By the late 2000s, Cage faced massive debt after years of financial mismanagement and unpaid taxes. The IRS demanded millions, and he was forced to sell much of his estate, including some of his most prized possessions. Still, the financial collapse was only part of his heartbreak. Cage's personal relationships suffered as well. He went through multiple divorces, including a high-profile split from Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis. He described the relationship as a hurricane of passion and pain. Over time, he became more private, retreating from the spotlight and focusing on rebuilding both his career and his peace of mind. Adding to the emotional turmoil was a series of personal losses. Cage was devastated by the death of his father, August Coppola, and struggled to come to terms with years of public ridicule. Once celebrated as a fearless actor, he became the subject of internet memes and jokes, his eccentric performances mocked instead of appreciated. "People don't realize," Cage said in an interview, "that behind the intensity there's a lot of pain. But even in tragedy, Nicolas Cage never gave up." He began taking roles in independent films, driven not by fame but by love for the craft. Movies like Pig and Mandy reminded the world that Cage was still one of the most talented and emotionally raw performers alive. His performance in Pig earned universal praise, with critics calling it a career resurrection. Yet for Cage, it was never about redemption. It was about honesty. "Acting saved my life," he said. "It gave me a place to put all my pain." Now, at 61, Nicolas Cage continues to work tirelessly, often appearing in multiple films each year. Though the blockbuster days may have passed, his legacy remains unmatched. A man who lived without restraint, felt deeply, and gave everything to his art. Still, his reflections on the past carry a quiet sadness. "I've lost things that can't be replaced," he said. "But I've learned that peace isn't in possessions. It's in acceptance." The tragedy of Nicolas Cage isn't that he fell. It's that he cared so much about living life fully that he sometimes lost himself in the process. Yet through all the pain, he remains a symbol of endurance and individuality. Cage's story reminds us that greatness often comes with a cost, and that even in heartbreak, there's beauty in never giving up.